All right, midweek update time. And we are adjusting off yesterday's Buffalo-centric core to take advantage of new leverage and pricing. We are moving our primary quarterback exposure to Caleb Williams at 6,000 with a dash rank of 100, facing the Giants, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 29. He's projected for 20, with 20 per game on the season. And the last three tell the story of ceiling and trend: 39, 13, and 6. We love the 1% projected ownership for tournaments. The news backs it up too. He just led Chicago to a 47-42 win over the Bengals and made NFL history with trick plays, including catching a touchdown from DJ Moore, as reported this week. That kind of usage and creativity expands his fantasy paths, and the matchup is what we wanted. At running back, we are pivoting from yesterday's James Cook share to DeAndre Swift at 6,100 with a dash rank of 100 in the same soft overall environment against the Giants, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 29. He's projected for 12, with 17 per game on the season, recent games of 0, 15, and 24, and he's coming in around 3.27% owned. He is listed questionable, so we will monitor practice reports, but this is a classic buy low spot. Multiple pieces have noted he has finished RB23 or better in all 5 seasons, and the Bears did not invest heavy draft capital at the position, signaling confidence. If he is a go, he correlates cleanly with our Caleb builds, while being far less owned than the chalkbacks. If he trends out, we revert to yesterday's approach, or late swap to similar price points. We are keeping Amon-Ra St. Brown at wide receiver at 8,400 with a dash rank of 100, facing Washington, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 30. He's projected for 21 with 21 per game, and he has posted 19, 21, and 14 in his last 3. He will likely be almost unowned midweek, and he remains the volume hub in a forgiving matchup. Sportsline's model cited him in anytime touchdown markets recently, and the Detroit locker room sentiment after the Chiefs' controversy suggests focus. No reason to move off this play. We are pivoting at tight end from yesterday's Sam Laporta exposure to Trey McBride at 6,000 with a dash rank of 100, taking on Seattle, who have a tough defense overall with an opponent rank of 9. He's projected for 15 with 16 per game and has delivered 12, 29, and 21 in his last 3. He will likely be nearly unowned. Recent coverage around his bye-week frustration and the follow-up touchdown versus the Colts underscores his featured role. Even in a tougher overall defensive matchup, the target share and red zone usage drive a strong ceiling and offer leverage away from the popular Detroit stacks. For our flex in the primary build, we like DJ Moore at 5,500 with a dash rank of 100 against the Giants, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 29. He's projected for 11 with 11 per game and has produced 23, 12, and 8 in his last 3. He will likely be almost unowned. The connection with Caleb is ascending, and the trick play where Moore threw the touchdown to Williams, covered in multiple reports this week, is exactly the kind of creativity that unlocks tournament-winning correlations at a friendly salary. On defense, we are upgrading the Carolina Panthers at 3,500 with a dash rank of 96 versus New Orleans, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 29. They're projected for 7. Coming off 9, -2, and 17, around 11% ownership is reasonable, and the price lands well in constructions that pay for Amon-Ra while stacking Chicago value notes for large fields. If you absolutely need to punt at quarterback, Andy Dalton at 4,000 versus New Orleans, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 23, is a thin leverage play around 1% ownership. News reminders about his recent spot starts are out there, but this only makes sense if he's confirmed to start. Otherwise, we pass. Jacob Sailors at 4,000 is a pure tournament dart tied to Detroit against Washington, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 30. He hasn't registered a fantasy point yet, but he brings explosiveness from his ETSU profile, and the UFL to NFL pipeline coverage has been positive. If Detroit controls this game, there's a path to late touches at no ownership. Khalif Raymond at 3,000 with a dash rank of 40 is a viable salary saver in the same Washington matchup. He's projected for 4, with about 1% ownership. The role is modest, but the environment is pristine, and the recent piece on his relentless profile under Dan Campbell reminds us that he's trusted in high-leverage spots. We are keeping David Njoku as our value tight end at 3,200 with a dash rank of 100 against the Jets, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 24. He's projected for 9 with 9 per game and has gone 14, 0, and 6 in his last 3. Yesterday, we highlighted his steadiness over multiple seasons, and that still applies. He remains a strong salary relief option who fits both balanced builds and Caleb stacks when you need savings at tight end. Isaac Tislea at 3,000 is a pure leverage flex punt in that Detroit-Washington game. He has not produced recently, but early season flashes and camp buzz were real, and there's reporting that his development has impacted the depth chart. Only use in massive fields when stacking Detroit for unique roster construction. For a pay-down defense when you need every dollar. The Cardinals at 2,200 versus Seattle, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall with an opponent rank of 11, project for 5 with recent scores of 12, 1, and 2, and around 6.43% ownership. It's a pressure and turnover bet to unlock premium stacks. Quick recap of changes since yesterday. We moved our core stack from Josh Allen and James Cook to a Chicago mini stack, built around Caleb Williams and DJ Moore because of elite dash rank, massive ownership leverage, and a matchup with one of the worst defenses overall. We replaced Laporta with Trey McBride for leverage at tight end, while keeping Amon-Ra St. Brown in that elite Washington spot. We are testing DeAndre Swift over previous RB exposure with the caveat that his questionable tag keeps us flexible. The news cycle supports these moves, headlined by Caleb's history-making performance and Chicago's creative usage, Sportsline's continued bullish stance on Amon-Ra, and McBride's featured role coming out of the bye. We will update again if practice reports force changes, but for now, this is our preferred midweek construction strategies.